colour combination I'm going to use is the green Peter. Just a simple fly. It's one you can try and change to suit yourself or the species of fly that you're trying to represent. Now the hook I'm using, this is a Kamasan, it's a B170 size 12. The thread I'm going to be using is Unithread 80 in wine. Now I've taken up about a yard or so and just run it through the wax and then just put it back onto the spool. Now I'm going to start the thread at the eye. I'm going to start my way down. A good layer of thread onto the shank. And I'm going to come slightly around the bend, just slightly further than normal, which would be, normally I would stop in line with the barb of the hook. But I want to just slightly come round with that. Then I'm going to tie in. Now the rib can be up to yourself. Basically what this is clear wrap. It's just a plastic wrap. You could use wire, gold wire is normally used in the green Peter. Just tie it up to yourself, something light, because this is a dry fly. And you catch this on the full length of the body, a couple of turns. Now what I'm going to do here is a permanent red marker pen. This is just to increase the colour a wee bit, right at the beginning, the tag, because this is going to have like a red butt. Now you use some tiny bit of red seals fur, or you could use whatever you have, SLF or whatever material you've got. Now that's a wee bit too much, but what I'm going to do is first turn or so it basically catches the seals fur, and that means then I've got kind of like an anchor point I can tighten up onto that and then remove the excess. And then get an olive or a green to suit. And this is a medium olive seals fur. Slide it up. Just form a reasonable body with the fur. Now the distance you're from the eye here, you're looking round about 3mm or so. And then I'm going to rub obviously the red part onto the red seals fur and then come up nice and tight. Tie in nice. Trim away the excess. A bit of wax there. Make sure things are secure. Now we've got a wee bit of velcro here, I'm just going to bring out some of the fur. This is to add a wee bit of colour. We've got some dyed olive. This is CDC feathers. Now you could use a mix of olive and natural. I'm just using the olive. It's just a single feather. Just to enhance the colour of the body. Now what I'm doing here is just rolling my fingers to draw the back, the material. And this sitting on, now you're looking at least the length of the hook, so when you tie this in at this point, it should be over the back. 2 or 3 turns to make sure it's caught. Trim away. Now, what I've got here is, this is a hen pheasant tail, which I've basically sat down and knotted. And I'm going to give you an idea how we do it. It's quite hard to see these wee fibres. Now what I use is a pair of tweezers. If you imagine, this is a bit of Sedge chenille. So if you imagine that's one of the fibres, what I do is I just basically put a twist in it onto my fingers to form a small loop. Come round, put the tweezers through, grab the fibre and then pull it and then tighten up, and that would be the knot. And basically that's how I tie these in. Now you could use a crochet needle, and which is, I believe, is quicker. I have seen it done, just haven't bought a crochet needle yet. So, but anyway, I'll show you again. So you just twist, form a loop, tweezers through, grab the point, bring it through, and then basically you can tighten up, and that forms your leg. But that's on a bit of Sedge nail, so you can see it. But anyway, you've obviously see I've done both sides. I've got what you call really a right and a left. Now I'm taking, I want it quite thick. I want it 3 to 4, and these are doubled, so 2 fibres tied together. I tear them off from one side, of the bottom, give the impression of legs and wing. Just tie that on, because the hen pheasant is a great colour. And then on this side, just to the back of the wing, don't go any further, or back of the CDC. You can see how it's sitting. At this point you can move it around to suit yourself. I'm quite happy with that. A bit of wax. Tidy up the area. At this point you can always check you've given yourself enough, because basically I'm putting in some deer hair and a hackle, so there's plenty of room there. This is some roe deer. It's nice and dark, a nice piece off the back. I'm just going to remove some from the skin, and remove the fluff from the bottom. Then I'm going to stack it. I want that nice brown colour at the tips. Just stack it on your desk. There we are. It's ready to take off. I've got a cut end in there, so I'm just going to catch it with my nail, remove it. I want this to the back of the line with the CDC feather, just like a length. Put that into your finger and thumb. Show you what I do, just trim that away. Normally I would trim it over the bin, so but you can't see what I'm doing if I do that. So tighten up. These are quite loose, so I'm kind of like pinch and loop onto the cut ends, and then I'm going to tighten up so that basically it's catching in these ends. Now, years ago, the hoppers I retied, we didn't have knotted legs. I just used long hackles. Just long hackle drives that I called them. And what I used to do is, we had this is a brown, natural Chinese, just a chicken. This is what we used. To thicken up the thorax, what I used to do, to give a taper anyway, and I like a taper in the front of these flies, just as you would get in the caddis pattern. So what I would do is, at the bottom, I would form a herald with the fluff at the bottom. Just trim it. Doesn't have to be perfect. There. So that's you forming like a herald. Then I would tie it in by the tip. And then just make sure you have some wax on your thread. 2 or 3 turns down, fold the back, bring the thread back up. Just basically making a nice, it may be a tapered shape area, but you've got a nice level base of thread there to wind your hackle on. Then we usually just break off the tip. It's folded back so it's well tucked in. Then I would fold the hackle. I always like to do it by hand, something I learnt to do. Just get as much hackle in as you can. These are only Indain or Chinese capes that basically are cheap. You've got to use up as much as a hackle as you can. Now at this point I'm just going to get right up towards the eye, cross the thread, nice and tight. I'll always put a wee bit of wax on it at this point. You can fold this back for strength. Draw back any fibres going forward. Just use your fingers to do that. Nice wee head in. And get your, keeping the thread tight, find your whip finishing tool. And then whip finish. Just tighten up. Trim away your thread. find your stem, trim it away. Now, what I used to then do was, because the long hackle dry, you could lift the fibres up quite easy. It worked into the wing, but it helps to spread the weight of the fly. And I found basically this gave a nice print on the surface of the water, which the fish liked better than the actual stiff hackle that actually pierces the surface and takes away the sort of impression that basically that most times the fish like to see. Now, flying like this, you'd be targeting fish, and I just found it worked really well, so I just simply call them long hackle dries. And then very good for the heather fly, things like that. This is a combination of both. The sort of like we would say the hopper and sedge. Edging your bets, as we would always say. And there we are. Now that's your, what I would call, just it's a sedge hopper. Call it what you like. It's just a good dry fly worth a place in anyone's box, especially in that colour at this time of the year. And great fun to tie.